Welcome to the Travel Tidbits Podcast, hosted by me, Jamie Weidel, travel advisor and owner of Pineapple Escapes Travel. Join me as I share the latest travel news, top destinations, and expert tips for the savvy traveler. Because after all, travel makes life sweeter. Welcome back to another episode of the Travel Tidbits Podcast, where we share bite-sized insights to help make your travel experiences smoother, sweeter, and more memorable. Between Christmas and Valentine's Day is officially what the travel industry calls engagement season. This is the time of year when so many couples say yes and then immediately start dreaming about what comes next. Bachelor and bachelorette trips, destination weddings, honeymoons, and we at Pineapple Escapes can also help with any other type of romance travel, anniversaries, couples getaways, group trips with friends who want to celebrate together, any kind of romance travel. The agents at Pineapple Escapes are here to help and help you walk through the process. So today I am honored to be joined by an amazing guest, our business development manager with Apple Leisure Group Vacations, Sue Kitsemble. Sue has worked with ALGV for a long time and has a great background in travel. She is a great resource for us at Pineapple Escapes. So Sue, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to be able to talk about this topic today.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And before we dive too much into romance travel, I'd love for you to kind of introduce yourself, give a little bit of background and what you do at Apple Leisure Group Vacations and how you're so important to agencies like Pineapple Escapes.
Sure. So 29 years, I'll be celebrating with ALG Vacations this year. That's amazing. Can't believe the time has flown. But I couldn't think of a better industry to be in. And I'm so fortunate to do what I do. I was a retail travel advisor before joining ALG Vacations. So I know what your day-to-day is like and what you all go through. And I think that that's really helped me with my position, because really what I do is I help you to grow your business. I educate you on what the newest trends are, new resorts, what we're offering, education-wise, true life experiences, being able to go into destination, which is probably for me the biggest reward of all. I get to travel to so many great places, and I've been to so many amazing destinations that I could go on for hours and hours. But that truly is what I do. And I love helping people every single day. It's really to make sure that you stay on track to fulfill and make sure that you're meeting your clients' expectations as well.
Yeah. And so we've been lucky enough as an agency to get to travel with you. Last year, we got to go to Punta Cana with you and had a great time. We toured several different resorts, got to do a little excursion, and just that time together, that time to learn from all of your experiences and all of your knowledge is so beneficial to our agency. And we're so grateful for that. And so I couldn't think of anybody better to really talk about romance travel with than you, Sue, because I know we do book a lot of our romance travel with ALGV because a lot of those fun and sun trips, a lot of those destination weddings are in major locations where ALGV specializes. So we are able to utilize you guys and your expertise to help make these better for our clients. So right now, we're right in the heart of engagement season and kind of that aftermath, which is when everyone starts kind of travel planning. Okay, we want to do the bachelorette party in Cancun, and then we want to get married in Jamaica or whatever their thought process is. So we start talking to different clients at this time of year to start thinking about those things as they're planning their dates and getting things figured out after they were newly engaged. So let's talk a little bit about what we see couples booking once they get engaged and any trends that you're noticing with ALGV right now as far as honeymoons, destination weddings, that sort of thing.
So definitely something unique that I did before I got married many years ago. My husband and I did a pre-trip because you're so stressed out and sometimes you're planning so far in advance that you just need that break. to just kind of hang together for a few days. So if somebody is booking a year and a half or so out, I know that you're saving and you're trying to make sure that you have the funds to make sure your day is most memorable. But taking the time and doing something like that, to me, has more value than anything. We're seeing a lot of different trends. It's not just the fun and sun. It depends on what their interests are. So some people don't want to sit on a lounge chair all day. They want to experience the destination or the culture of the people where they are. But obviously with social media, Instagrammable moments seem to be the big hit right now. So being able to take a photo someplace that maybe none of your friends have seen before or done before, we are seeing a lot of that. People trying to find that unique place to be. So I would say, at the moment, our portfolio is growing. It's not just the fun and sun. It could be Europe or Indonesia or South Pacific, even Central and South America. We're seeing a lot of different trends going on based on the interest of those that are traveling, for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely more and more people are opening up to those sorts of things. And I think my generation, our kids have been able to travel so much more than I had ever even dreamed of when I was a kid. Like my kids have already been to Mexico. They've already done Punta Cana. Like they want something new, something different. And I think we're definitely seeing that with the young people that are getting engaged right now and their trends. We're definitely seeing more unique destinations are on their list. And I think that's really where someone like the agents at Pineapple Escapes can really step in and help, because some of these more unique destinations do have different requirements, different things that are needed to kind of make that all smooth and work for them. One thing I also wanted to mention, you had brought up before we started talking engagement trips, and I think this is brilliant. So why not take a trip to get engaged? And so many resorts are doing so many neat things these days. Have you had some experience with this, Sue?
Absolutely. So concierge at the hotels can set up an engagement right at any of the resorts. And we found that to be quite popular, especially in Mexico. Great getaway for a few days that they can do that. Sometimes they'll have others join them after the fact. Sometimes they'll have people surprise them, or they'll just be with family and friends. But even arrange things in Europe as well. Like we have a team that can support your advisors to reaching out to do an engagement, maybe in Paris or, in a unique spot during an excursion. So we have all those resources that we can support you to do that the normal client wouldn't have, for sure.
And I think that's what's so valuable too. Like as an agency, our connection with ALGV and having those connections and the people that we can reach out to help with all of these details, I mean, that's really priceless. And I think it's so funny how, I've been married 22 years this Valentine's Day, which isn't that long in the scheme of things, but how much things have changed. Like now we're in the world of like promposals and all of these things. I have teenagers, so that's part of it. But it's just a very different, I got engaged at a kitchen table. Like it wasn't like a big thing. And now like we do these trips. It's an entire thing just for the engagement, not to mention all of the pieces that come after. And there's so much to it. So I feel like that's where a travel advisor can really step in and help, is take some of that stress off of the couple, no matter what they're planning. If they're planning an engagement, a bachelorette party, a honeymoon, a wedding, especially a wedding. I mean, the stress that goes with all the travel pieces of that, that's where advisors can really step in. So, Sue, talk a little bit about how we work with Apple Leisure Group Vacations and how we work together to make sure that our clients have the best trip possible.
Sure. So we have a lot of resources. First and foremost, you as a very valuable partner for ALG Vacations, you're a diamond account with us. So You give us a ton of business and we get a lot of support from you. But on our side, we support you back. So we give so many opportunities for your advisors to be able to travel to many different destinations, do a lot of workshops and trainings. I mean, think about all the hours you invest in learning. I mean, that is such a value. I mean, people talk about doctors and lawyers and the amount of time that they put in, but travel advisors, I mean, it's hours and hours and hours of going through and understanding different brands of hotels, the different destinations, us providing for you all the requirements that are going on, different things that are happening, changes with policies with carriers, the way that seating goes. Look what Southwest just went through, right?
Yes, absolutely.
They went from no seating, like get on your mark, get set, go. I love the Super Bowl commercial where they're running on the plane. It was perfect. I mean, because I experienced it once and then that wasn't for me. So knowing that and sharing that type of information with your clients is really valuable. And then just walking them through when they get there, especially if you're going out of the country for the first time or a country you've never been to, it is kind of scary to think of, but it's good. And so many people ask about safety now and the fact that you are so well educated and up to date, and our communication back and forth with each other provides that for peace of mind for your clients. So there is so much value in what you do from beginning to end, not only planning and helping them pick the perfect spot and meeting their expectations, but giving them all that little insight from beginning to end. And then if they're planning something special, like a wedding or a multi-gen or a bachelor, bachelorette party, providing them all the opportunities that they have or all the things that they can plan in advance if they want to not have to worry about it when they get there and all the resources that they have when they get in destination too. So much.
I agree. I think, so I like to call it sandals on the ground because that is one thing that I do really value as an agency owner and for my agents is we need to be on the ground experiencing these destinations. We need to have been there. We need to see it with our own eyes. We need to eat the food. We need to sleep in the beds. We need to see it. It's one thing to see a bunch of pretty pictures online and think, oh, this is going to be the perfect resort. It's another thing to talk to someone who has been there, who says, I went to this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this is the one I think would be the best choice for you. I personally have seen over 200 properties in the Cancun area and Punta Cana area in the last 3 years. I make it a priority to not sell anything that I don't fully know and haven't stepped foot on myself. And I think that's just so important and so valuable in this day and age. You can plug anything you want into Google and it's going to spit back beautiful pictures, but what do they really know about it? Have they been there? What's that beach really look like in June? Is it really okay in June or is there sargassum everywhere? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. And right. I think that makes a big difference overall and can really take a lot of that stress off of our clients, no matter what type of trip they're planning.
Well, and the other thing is, too, something as simple as somebody's favorite brand of liquor that they prefer to have. And if they get there and it's all domestic, and by domestic, I mean like a Dominican or a Mexican brand versus what we would call a premium. And those would be the brands we're used to here at home, like Maker's Mark or Absolute or Grey Goose or certain types of rums. Knowing the difference between different resorts or different levels of resorts that provide that, and the food as well. I mean, somebody that's great with hamburgers, steaks, and fries versus somebody that's looking for a more upscale gourmet experience because this is their vacation and they want to eat well as if they were going out to dinner, at home and spending $150, $250, $300 for a meal. If that's what their expectations are, you can meet those with the types of foods that are available, but it might be only certain brands that offer that. So that's really important intel. And those are questions that I know that your advisors are going to ask the clients to see what they want. What do we always say? Beer budget, champagne taste. I mean, that could be, but sometimes you can meet that in the middle. Sometimes you can still provide an experience or a good, a lot of the hotels call it gastronomy now. So
Mhm.
have very good meals, but at a reasonable cost for their vacation. So I think that that's where the true value comes in. And no computer or AI is going to be able to answer all of those questions for sure.
Yeah, I mean, AI doesn't eat the food, so
No.
yeah. But I do think that's one thing. So I'm a big foodie, but I like all types of food. I'm good with burgers and fries, but I also like all the fancy things. So I'm always about trying the food and destination. And what kind of person is this for? Are you a picky eater? Okay, well, there are certain places you don't want to go if you're a picky eater. Like, they're not going to have those Americanized foods that you're used to. And there are other places where they are going to have those options. So I think it is critical, and knowing exactly what you want. And Sue, the type of trip you're going to take versus the trip I'm going to take. Okay, let's be real. We're probably on the same page, but sometimes maybe we wouldn't be. And so I think that makes a difference, is actually getting to know the client and understanding what they're truly wanting and their expectations, no matter what type of trip it is. So let's talk a little bit about different destinations. So we've mentioned a few. Obviously, for our agency, we do a lot of Mexico, a lot of Cabo, Cancun. We do a lot of Punta Cana. Those are big for us for honeymoons, for bachelor, bachelorette trips, for weddings. Jamaica's another big one. Things are really reopening now, so we're seeing a lot more options there back into play. But there are so many other options out there. What are some good ones that you've seen that have been successful?
So, I mean, you can't rule out Puerto Vallarta, traditional Pacific side of Mexico, but gosh, talk about a foodie capital. Like there, some of the restaurants are amazing. Cabo has amazing restaurants too. So even if you stay in an all inclusive, you still want to get out a little bit and experience some local places as well. But we offer flights, like we're offering flights right now from our Rockford airport in the Chicago area to Hualtuco, Mexico. And that's a cool little destination. I went down there with about 30 friends 2 years ago. I hadn't been down there in a while. It's got 9 bays, maybe 12 hotels in the area, and very, very unique and different on the Pacific side. So whale watching, dolphins, things like that you can see. Tulum. Tulum's huge, and so many people are going down to Tulum. It's kind of the hip place to be. There's a lot of glamping spots, so you have to have a mosquito net in your room because it's like that. And you could pay $1,000 a night and no food or anything are included. But I know your team has the insight of the places that offer all inclusive, and they don't have to have a mosquito net in their room. And
Let's not do
it's
that.
not $1,000 a night for a couple to stay there. So there's a lot of really cool places in Dominican now, brand new area, Michis, that the government has developed north of Punta Cana, about an hour and a half. I had the privilege of going there in November for my first time, going back in May again. Gorgeous beaches, like untouched. You can walk the beach without any other hotels in the area or just a couple of hotels, coconut plantations, things like that to see. So there's a lot of areas that you can fly into the Dominican, like into Punta Cana, or you can fly into Cancun, but there's so many other areas too. Like Cancun, I stayed at Isla Mujeres. I mean, we stayed at Impressions for 2 nights. I felt like I was in the Maldives, like honestly. And you pull up in this beautiful yacht that they bring you over from Cancun by boat to, and it's like White Lotus. The whole team is standing there with their uniforms on, waiting to greet the guests that come in on the boat, and 123 rooms. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. You are pampered to no end. The island is small, so you can rent like a little golf cart, or they've got bikes that you can even bike into town if you want to. But the resort itself is just spectacular and one of the most Instagrammable hotels in the world. So compare that to somebody going to the Maldives, which we do as well. They don't have to fly for 15, 20 hours to get there, and they can have somewhat of an experience. It'll never be exactly the same, but you do have choices. And the cool thing is your team is so knowledgeable. And because you have such an expanded team, like not everybody can go to those places, but you can all share and help each other. And that's what's most important, to tell them truly, you know, someone that's been there if you haven't, to provide the best information and to make sure you're qualifying them correctly.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I loved Impression Isla Mujeres too. And Sue, I still remember right when you came back, we were talking about it and you were mentioning the goat cheese ice cream.
Goat cheese gelato. I mean, it was amazing. I never had it before, and now I crave it all the time, and I've never seen it again. So
Yeah.
again, you know, you're experiencing something different that maybe you'll never experience anyplace else. And some people only go there for 3 nights, but they take all those pictures and they post them, and then they could go and stay at another resort if they want to. But only those things a travel advisor can share with somebody or tell them the best options that they have based on either their budget or their expectation. But there's a lot of cool things that you can do. And there's so many destinations, right? Like, I've been so fortunate to go to so many places, but yet there's so many places on my bucket list still.
Same.
And
Yeah.
and that's the great thing. Like, you were with your family in Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. I mean, kind of people have forgotten about it a little bit, but that is such a cool place. And you could go there 3 or 4 times and have different experiences, just like some of these other destinations that we're talking about, because there's so many segmented areas that you can travel to on each and every trip.
Yeah. I think any of these destinations that we're talking about, any of the Caribbean, like you can go every time and have a completely different experience. And obviously everybody knows that I'm a Disney girl too. But every time I go, I learn something new. It's something different. And it's the same with all of these romance travel destinations too. Like every time I go to Cancun, everybody's like, "You're going to Cancun again?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to Cancun again. But this time I saw these properties and I think this one's better because of this." And you continue learning about all these destinations so that when the client comes to me, I can help them and make it perfect for them. So let's talk a little bit more about the types of places that are best for weddings and honeymoons. Let's focus mostly on like Cancun, Punta Cana area.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorites personally are the Dreams and Secrets resorts that are next to each other. So like in the Cancun region up in Playa Mujeres, we have Secrets Playa Mujeres and Dreams Playa Mujeres with exchange privileges. And then down in Punta Cana, the new Secrets Esmeralda and Dreams Esmeralda also have that same option. Let's talk a little bit about why these are great properties for weddings and what the benefits are there.
So, great choices to offer, especially if you have families attending the wedding that have children. Dreams is a brand that caters to families, and Secrets is an adults only brand. So having them side by side and gives the clients the option. The adults can go over to the family side so everybody can be together. But if they want to have that separation or a little downtime, or kids not splashing them in a pool, as I would say, they could go over to the adult side as well. So it allows everybody kind of to have their space. And it's great for multi-gen too. So multi-generational families, parents, grandparents going with families with smaller kids. I mean, it does give them more opportunities. And think about it this way. The dream side might have 6 to 8 restaurants, and the secrets side might have 6 to 8 restaurants. So that could give some of the guests or some of the people traveling together many more choices to go for dinner if they want to. I've even done progressive dinners in destination, like where we've had an appetizer in one and gone to another for the main course, because sometimes you're not there long enough to eat in every restaurant during your stay. But it does also give a variety of accommodations. So for those larger families that need either guaranteed connecting rooms or a bigger suite, or in some cases now they have villas and things like that, it gives them more options to suffice everybody. And people can stay in a lead-in room category if they don't have a big budget. And you can go all the way up to suites, oceanfront master suites that can host some of the guests for a pre-dinner party or something like that. So it gives you a lot more opportunities and more options for the guests for sure. Plus, better experience. And between the two properties, you usually have many more places where they can actually host the wedding as well. Not everybody wants to have their feet in the sand. Some brides don't want to get sand in their feet or walk in the sand. So they've got other options within the property that still would have a gorgeous backdrop for them to host a wedding for as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think these are particularly for those who have families. If you're wanting an adult only destination wedding, we have different properties that I would suggest, but these are both really great options for family weddings where you're inviting, your brother who has 2 kids and that sort of thing. But there are just so many options out there, and finding the right one and matching you with the perfect one, and then allowing us to kind of take over all of those travel plans. So you don't have, your Aunt Susie reaching out to you saying, hey, my flight's delayed, all of those sorts of things. You've got a travel advisor who is working on that and dealing with all of those situations so you don't have to. And I think that's really where we come in, and our big value for destination weddings is kind of taking that pressure and that stress off of our brides and our grooms to make it more magical for them.
Absolutely. And providing just the insight and making suggestions of other things that you've done for other brides and grooms based on your experience, because this is their first time, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully their first time, but if not, maybe their first time doing a destination wedding.
Yeah.
And the fact that they would have a wedding coordinator on property to help them along the way. I mean, people pay thousands of dollars here for a wedding coordinator to coordinate a wedding. And you get that included just because you're getting married on property at the hotel. And they're phenomenal. They are just amazing people that can come up with the greatest ideas for them.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of misconceptions too about destination weddings. I mean, weddings in the States these days are so expensive that there can be some great options for destination weddings that actually are less expensive than getting married in the US, just depending on what you're wanting and what type of experience you're wanting to have. I mean, I think there's just a lot of different options that we can help you with if that's the route that you're wanting to go.
Well, and I love the fact that so many of these resorts now limit it to 1 or 2 weddings a day. It's not like it's not like a runway show at some resorts that I've seen in the past where every hour they've got a wedding booked. Many of these want it to be special for the bride and groom. And by booking in advance makes such a big difference, because then you can get your ideal time. So many people want that sunset wedding right as the sun's going down, and there can only be one. So
Yeah.
those are the kind of details that you're going to have and provide to the clients that they wouldn't know about otherwise. If they call a hotel to book a wedding, they're just going to book them whatever they have. They're not necessarily going to give them the choices.
Yeah, they're not going to help with all of the details, getting them matched up with the wedding coordinator, having those conversations that make a difference to the whole trip. So besides weddings, honeymoons, we also do anniversary trips. We do couples getaways. If you have a group of friends that wants to go travel together, we do multi-gen. If grandma and grandpa want to take their 3 kids and then their spouses and all their kids, we can do any of those types of trips. And there are so many options out there. One thing that I kind of want to talk about, though, is the benefits of an all-inclusive. So that's mostly what we've been focusing on. I mean, obviously, we can do Europe, we can do Maldives, we can do any of those types of trips as well, but all-inclusives really have an added value in that a lot of the things that you're going to want, your drinks, your food, plus your accommodations, plus activities at the resort, are all included. And so it's one price. And when you get there, there's not a lot of that added expense. I also think that all-inclusives are really good because they're less stressful and there's more time together. What else would you say is a perk of these types of trips in that all-inclusive environment?
I mean, trying things that you've never tried before, be it if it's an activity that they're offering at the resort or food. You have an opportunity to try different foods that you wouldn't normally want to spend money on in case you don't like it. But just the ease and the stress-free that you're not exchanging money when you're getting up from your meal. You don't have to worry about who's paying the check, who's buying the drink as you're meeting for, a pre-drink before you go to dinner. Going to a gym, getting tennis lessons or pickleball lessons, or learning how to work on some equipment at a gym. You may have equipment at home, but to go to a gym and pay somebody, these resorts offer so many things on a complimentary basis. It's automatically included in your price of your package for you to try something new and different. And again, to not have to worry about it. Once you've made your reservation, you know what you're paying for the trip. There's not really much more out of pocket unless you want to bring some money to tip or to do some excursions or maybe just venture off property, walk around a little bit or take a local taxi or bus or something to go shopping or go to a different area. But I think that that's really the value. And looking at what the resort has to offer is what your team does based on what the clients are looking to do. Because sometimes if a hotel offers golf or has golf included, if you're not a golfer, you might be paying for that, but you're not going to use it. So putting you in a resort that might be a little less expensive, that's going to give you the experience you're looking for is where the value comes in. So I think that is most important, and that's where the value comes in. And all the resorts offer different types of activities and things, and your team knows better than anybody who does what and what they specialize in. So
absolutely. And I think that that's really such an important piece of this, especially when you're looking at destination weddings or those kinds of trips. Like, people want to have one price and know what they're getting into. They don't want to have a lot of nickel and diming along the way. And so I think that can really be beneficial as far as how that works with an all-inclusive. And I think that's a really good choice for a lot of people looking for those types of destination weddings. Let's talk a little bit briefly before we wrap up about romance travel and the expectations of romance travel. I think a lot of times there are really high expectations, especially with a wedding, with a honeymoon, those sorts of things. People want it perfect. I think that that's where really a travel advisor comes in, because we can set you up with that wedding coordinator. We can help you with making sure you have those connections that you need. But I also think having a partnership like we have with ALGV comes in handy there as well, because if there are flight delays, if there are issues that come up, we have connections directly to you to be able to help solve problems. So let's talk a little bit about that and how ALGV helps us when our clients do have issues in destination.
Sure. So first and foremost, one of our sister companies provides our transfers, and they're in destination in quite a few of our destinations, especially Caribbean and Mexico. They're almost on every destination that we sell. They're the greeters. They're the first people that they see when they get off the plane and out of customs and immigrations to greet them and get them to their hotel. So you're providing that as a service. And then should they have an issue while they're in destination, they can reach out to them directly, or we do have a number that they can call into us or obviously call into you. And we have a 24/7 team that is there to answer any questions. Be it if somebody they have an emergency at home and they need to come back. Be it if something happens, something, medically is happening, our team is there to assist. And I know they a lot of times go right to the hospital once they find out that a client's been taken there to make sure that everything's okay, or just to make sure that they feel comfortable. And if the family needs any help extending their stay, making alternate arrangements going home, things like that. The weather's been crazy this winter. So our team has been there to work with the carriers and getting people home, rearranging their return flights if they've got delays, misconnects, things like that. And your team has been fantastic. You guys reach out to us and we work together to make these resolutions. So we've got a huge support team, not only in destination, but back here in the States to help you. And you have gone through all the training. So your advisors know more than anything, like exactly what needs to be done, where the client necessarily doesn't know what to do or who to go to or what to do. So we've got all the resources to support you as well.
Yeah, maybe unfortunately, but after many years in the travel business, you start to have seen it all. And we know what to do and how to react. But I think that is a really big positive of ALGV as the Amstar reps in destination, having, if our clients do end up in the hospital, which we don't like to talk about, but it does happen, there is someone with you who can help guide you through it. I mean, obviously you would be in touch with me as well, but having someone who's advocating for you and helping you in destination is priceless. Like, there isn't a dollar figure you can put on that when you're in that situation. So I feel like that is so beneficial to have that support, both from a real person who cares about you and your trip and the agent that you choose to book with, and through the companies that we are using who support us, to know that we have those layers of support built in if something does go sideways. And there are hundreds of trips every day where everything goes perfectly, but there's always that one where something happens or something goes wrong. But that's why we're here. That's why we're here to help and to help smooth it over and make it work.
And we appreciate the fact that you support, and the reason that we use Amstar is because all of their excursions even are all insured. So should somebody have an issue or an unfortunate situation, I think we had somebody that drove an ATV into a tree not that long ago.
Yeah.
It needed to be checked out medically, but I mean, all the excursions are all insured. The clients are insured. So insurance is so important just in general, but to have that extra layer and to work with a company that's reliable like that, because most of the people on the beach that are trying to sell you an excursion, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's kind of me. So having that guidance from you and taking your recommendations of who to work with is really, really important as well.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And just those layers of protection, knowing that you have that to stand behind. So this has been so much fun, Sue, talking about romance travel and about all that ALGV and Pineapple Escapes can do for our clients. I really appreciate your expertise and for sharing all of your insight. And obviously, Pineapple Escapes appreciates all of your support all along the way. It's so nice for us to have your support and to know when things go sideways, we have someone who we can rely on. So if you're listening and dreaming about a bachelor or bachelorette trip, a honeymoon, a destination wedding, an anniversary getaway, a romantic escape, any kind of travel, we're here for you at Pineapple Escapes Travel. And this is really where we shine, is matching you with the perfect destination. So no matter if you're budget friendly or you want full on luxury, our team is here to help it and make sure that it is perfect, seamless, stress-free, and personalized just for you. So, Sue, thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks to everyone for joining us on the Travel Tidbits Podcast. If you love this episode, please be sure to subscribe, share it with someone planning romance travel, and reach out to Pineapple Escapes Travel when you're ready to start planning. And remember, travel makes life sweeter. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Travel Tidbits Podcast, where we believe travel makes life sweeter. The team at Pineapple Escapes Travel would love to help you plan a trip filled with lasting memories. Visit us online at www.pineappleescapes.com to start planning your next adventure.